Hi, everybody. Welcome to my studio. How are y'all doing? Grab a seat. We're going to be painting a spring scene. I'm craving spring. We still have a lot of snow. But I thought I'd show you. I got some happy mail from Devin. Thank you so much, Devin. Love happy mail. And she gave me some of her painted papers and a card. Love it. So I love this. This is that, what you call it again? Handmade. What is it? Canon Cayenne type paper. I probably said that wrong. It's awesome. And some of her cute little bunnies leaping. That's cute. And different papers and stickers. I love this. That's so cute. And I love these too. I'm going to put these in my journal. So these are the, they're like the, what do you call them? Wax seals. But she made them out of, I think it's hot glue. And they turned out so cool. She put sparkles in them. I think that's such a neat idea. Little tree of life. So thank you very much. I'm going to use those in my journal. And look at this card. She did her own cards. The turtle, all the Zentangling. That's beautiful. A nice little card. Thank you so much, Devin. This is cool. It's textural. And a little heart. So that was really fun to get. Always enjoy getting happy mail. Brightens your day. Thank you, Devin. Love it. I'm going to be using the papers. I'm going to put them in my, I'm going to make a new journal, so I'm going to use them in my journal. Okay, let's see what everybody's saying. Hey, Joan, Marty, Kat, Devin, Lena. Good to see you all. You're all ready for spring? I am, but spring is kind of taking its good old time. But I got a lot of work done in here. I keep telling myself that. Like, as soon as spring hits, I'm outside. I don't want to be inside. So a lot of times it's hard for me to do art. I still do my videos and stuff, but I don't like to come in. So this is what we're going to be doing. So this is my version of a spring thaw type of landscape. And this is my own creation. And this one was done on AI, guys. Yep. I love it. I find it very inspirational. You can take them and spruce them up in your Digi, change things, colors, put stuff in, whatever you want. But for me, it's a way of finding different compositions, sometimes color palettes, or like this, finding a landscape that I like. And then you've got ideas. Have any of you guys tried out AI for this type of work? It's not that difficult. I love it. I've got a whole slew of them waiting to be done. I use mine for inspiration and then I'll paint them. I don't necessarily use them as a finished piece of art, so to speak, but I do love it. Hey, Kathleen, good to see you. So I've got a bunch of, I have a digital program too that I do have a, oh, what's it called now? Huion? I tried it, but didn't like the results, the program. My program is called, let me think, a Creative Fabrica, I think it's called. Creative Fabrica, I believe. If that's wrong, I'll message you on Instagram and let you know. It's so easy, and you can look at other people's stuff, and a lot of times other people will leave the wording that they used, and you can use that and then change some things in it, and you'll get a different results. Plus, you get different results in the sizing. So if you're doing portrait in a certain size, 2 to 3 or 3 to 5, or what's the other one, 16 or 19, is it? I can't remember. You'll get a different results on each one. Is it iOS? Well, it's done on the internet. You go into their, so I guess it would be, can't see why you couldn't use it. And then you can, they have different, they're upgrading all the time. So it's fun. And you can try it out for free. And if you really like it and you want to have a faster generation time as far as having it come developing, you can pay per month. But it's just as good as free, I find. So we're going to do this. And then this I already printed, or not printed, but I just roughly sketched out where I want the different things to be. So we have our trees, a stream, and what I've done is, yeah, you can see it. There's Frisket in there, or masking fluid. Yeah, that's it. And it's called Sparks. You can on the top, there's a bunch of things you can click on. It's called Sparks, and that's the AI. Hey, Dar. So I put the masking fluid so I don't have to worry about going around these daffodils. And I put a few in here too for the spring leaves. Yeah, that's it, Devin. It's fun, and you can play with it. And they give you kind of tips for getting your wording right stuff. So check that part out too. Developer, I think it's called, prompt developer in there, and it'll help you see what stuff you have to put in. Or you can go on different AI programs and see what they're doing. A lot of them have their prompts showing, And you can take their prompts and put it into this here and you'll get something different. They're all different depending on what program they're using. But I got some really cool stuff coming up, so it's going to be fun. I'm excited. It was like having 4 Christmases all at once for me. It was so exciting. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a margin down here because I want to list what paint I did on this side. Okay. So usually light to dark. I'll probably use a little bit of gouache, I think, in this too. This is just sketchbook paper, so I'm not going to put a whole lot of layers on here. 2, maybe 3 at the most. It's very loose, what I'm doing. So what I'm going to do right now is basically the grass areas into the trees. I can cover the trees because it's going to be a dark anyways, so you can put the yellow or greens, whatever you're using, over top of those trees and not have to worry about it. Hey, Dorothy, good to see you. So I'm going to be using probably Windsor Yellow, or the other one is Henza Yellow by Core. Oh, I got dog hair. Always dog hair in my stuff here. And some green. I have this really bright green. It's called Leaf Green by Da Vinci. So we'll put some right in there. I want to make up some beforehand so I have a puddle, so I don't have to make it in between. Because you kind of have to work fast when you're doing a big area. So you don't want to mix something that's a little different if you have to stop. So let's put in, I'm going to put in a little bit of water on here. And then just dab in some of this green and yellow here and there. And remember, this dries lighter. I think that will be green in here. And you can also take stuff out. So maybe I want a little bit lighter in areas. Wouldn't be all uniform. And maybe in here, up the hill, there's grasses up there. So just putting on my top base coat layer. That's what I normally do in whatever I'm doing with whatever medium. You always put your base layer on. Let's put some more green in here. And a little bit maybe along in here. There's some little bit of moss, and there's leaves, spring leaves. Let's put a little bit of permanent green in here, I think. Gets a little darker. You could go into the blues too. Because it will be different. It's all new stuff coming up, so Got new stuff coming up. It can be all kinds of colors in there. Lots of getting into the real darks then in here. See, I'm very loose paint. Don't get too bogged up or too bogged down for putting your colors in when you're first doing it. There's so many different colors in this. You'll see it. And even in the water, you'll see it because it'll be reflecting some of those trees and stuff. So you can put some of that in there. Maybe some more bit of yellow here and there. Just have fun with it. It looks like a mess, but you'll see it'll turn into something really cool. And I'm just looking at my reference photo and seeing where there's some darker areas, and then you can throw some of that in there. Maybe some in there, some darks. Right there. Come out into here. Might be trees. Maybe some in here. Along here. Very loose. Okay, and then we got, I'm going to use some raw sienna here. I'm just going to put it in the rock that's along the edge here. We can add other colors on top of this just to give me an idea where everything is. Very loose rendition. I don't want it like this is in my sketchbook. This is just to represent something in nature that I saw. All right. Now the water is blue. So I'm going to do a cobalt blue. So I have a bit of cobalt blue in here. So I'm just going to swipe in some of that. And I've already put in some masking for the areas that I want to remain white, for the little highlights in the water, or maybe there's a little bit of a ripple in the water. So just put that in. And it'd be reflecting the sky also. So anyone can do this, guys. It's not that difficult. Very loose rendition. There's nothing, no one's going to go and find this place. Okay, so a little bit darker along the edges, but we'll have to let this dry a little bit before we fix that. I'm going to put a little bit in here. Maybe, let's see, let's put a little bit. I'm going to put a little bit of blue in here. We will be adding detail once we're done this part. Okay, so there's our rough beginning. So Let's take the hair dryer. Yeah, that's dry. Light. I'm going to take the cool hair dryer instead, so I don't bake my masking fluid on. That wouldn't be good. All right. So we can still see the areas where I sketch things out. Okay, so let's put in some of this tree here. So the tree's going to be fairly dark, so we're going to go into burnt umber for the lighter areas, and then darken it with some Payne's Gray to make it almost black. We want a fair amount of it. And the lighter areas mainly just in here. And here, this one here. And we'll be painting more on top, so don't get too fussy with it. A little bit on here, this side. You're always going light to dark. I'm going to put a little bit in here. And then with that mix, I'm going to a little bit more in there because I'm going to need it quite a bit. And I'm going to mix some Payne's Gray, or even indigo would work. And that'll darken it nice and dark. And you can have a little bit on the blue side. Sometimes your shadows are kind of bluish, cold color. And then take it down. We can put another layer on if this isn't dark enough. So a thicker layer of paint. And just making a ragged edge because the grass is on top. So be a little bit darker in here, but leave some of this brown. And get it a little bit thicker. And then this one here, do the same thing. So see how nice it is that you don't have to paint around all those little bits and pieces. And I'm going to do the same thing, have a ragged edge. And this side is a lot darker. And this side here will be the darkest as it's underneath. But a little bit of strokes going up the bark. Make it a little uneven. And then this side too. This one is pretty dark all around. Hey, Kim. Thanks. They're fun to do. It's just try it. I really like doing landscapes because there's no wrong way. No one's going to check to see if that rock was there. So just play. A little bit of shadow in here. Make the rocks a little different. Put a little blue in with them. They can be a little bit on the green side. I like to soften some of the edges, not all of them, but some. Just give it a little more depth. This is the edge of it. Let's put a little green in there, kind of like it's got a little bit of moss, whatnot. Let's change the colors up. A little bit of lighter, maybe green here and there. Some speckles, rough edges. A bit more darks in here. You could take a smaller brush too if you're finding you're not getting the right mark you want. Use the brush you're comfortable with. So be fairly dark around there. Let's soften that edge a little bit. Blur it out because it's in the water. This one here, we can do the same thing, maybe a little more brown here and there. Change it up. Green. Okay, we'll leave that for now. Let it dry. And then there was a big rock here. I forgot to put it in. Oh, we can still put it in. The rocks usually have a hard edge to them. We'll add other stuff to it later. Let's see. Let's put a little more green in here. I'm going to get my smaller brush out. So this is a number 4. Just smaller marks. And let's put some blue in there too. Cross things there because grass isn't just straight. It's got some angles on it, maybe even some broken heads of the grass on the top, like that. So there's quite a few colors in here, even kind of a bluey color. Mix that. Let's see. You can put some gouache on here too if you want. Or pencil crayon too, colored pencil. Some more greens. Some darker, let's see. Some of this here, the Daniel Smith Green Apatite Genuine. It's an awesome color. Let's play. Maybe a little bit of a bluey tinge to it. Changes the color up again. Some across there. Thinner ones. Go up the tree a bit. I might take some gouache and put some in there. Make those a little bit darker and lighter. Okay, and then over here, we can, this is kind of blurry anyways, so we could do, let's see, a little bit more on the green and on the banks. It's a little bit greener in there. We'll put other stuff on top too. But, you know, dabbing to just to show different things that are back in there. Foliage, whatever. Could also take, if you want, instead of just using your brush, you could take a, let's see, I think I got my fan in here somewhere. There it is. So this is great for using for foliage. And grasses too. Put a little bit of water on it. If you want real fine grass. Pounce. A lot of times the grasses are different lengths anyways. Let's put some darker. So we got some dark areas along the edge. Keep it all along there. A few little areas where there'd be a little bit darker. You can't really recognize it completely, but it's there. So just put some of those in. I love this brush. I think it's fun. It's easy to use. So just a few darker areas. I'm going to get my other round and just fill in some of those areas along the bank. It'll be darker. Could even go into the really dark here and there. Some more of that blue and the umber together. I'm almost out of it. Just gotta replenish. These rocks have some dark areas in them too. A little bit of thickness to them, so you would see that thickness. That's the water. A little bit of a shadow under there. I'm just taking kind of the leftovers on my palette. It's kind of a muddy color. Just putting that in fairly light, a lot of water to it, just to give that shadowed look from the bank. A little bit more there. Let's see, we gotta put some in there. Darker. I can still see my edge, so let's see there and in here. This kind of goes across. Maybe some darker areas in the bush. Get in there. Might see some more tree limbs or whatever. Let's put in some branches. So I want a fairly thick consistency here. So very light touch. So it'd be all kinds of leaves just starting to come out. So you wouldn't see all the branch, so don't connect them all. Just add them here and there, and that will give you the sense of there's leaves there. Same with in here. Just add a few lines here and there. You don't have to connect these dots, but just put some lines in, and that'll be an indication of tree limbs, but you don't have to connect them. You'll see them, but your eye will do a lot of the work for you as far as saying that, oh yes, that's what that is. You can add more depth to your trees if you want. A little more scribbles would give it a look of bark. Or you could take colored pencil or pen if you like doing that. A little bit more in here, darker. Same with down in here and just make some marks. So it kind of looks like the uneven edge of the grasses are in there. So you're kind of negative painting that. A little bit darker. Okay. Let's see what else we can make. A little bit more. Maybe we'll make this into another rock. It's on top of it. So get a sharp edge. Darker green for some of the edges in here. Maybe a little bit more green on there, or we could also use gouache. Let's make this up a little bit darker so it looks like a rock. It's got depth to it. Give a little bit of shine to it too. Well, it's not too bad. A little bit darker in here, I think. And I think this one needs a little bit of dark. Just play. I think I'm going to put a little bit, let's see, a little bit more dark, I think. And in here. I think I'm going to get a little bit of washout. Play with it a bit. See what we can do. And let's fix up the water a little. So I want a little bit of a darker. I'm going to use French ultramarine blue. So there's some really dark areas. I'm not going to do all of it, but there are some really dark areas. So up in here, just sweep some in. Through the wrap. It's more along the side here. In here, it's fairly dark. It's a little bit of a rapid there. Looks like. And sweep it in there. A bit in here. That there can be a bunch of different colors. So we could do a little bit of this green there. Take some of that water out. I'm going to put a little bit of yellow in there so it'd be lighter. Maybe a little more yellow here and there. Spruce it up. A little more pizzazz. And a little green. Just a touch though, not a lot. Maybe a touch of blue. Just here and there. Okay, so let's dry that. Alrighty. Looks like somewhere Janet hangs out. Yeah. Okay, so I think that's the main bit of big wash that I want. So let's see if we can take this masking off. I don't have a pickups mask thing, but my finger works okay. I didn't put it on too thick, so it should work. I always love it when the masking comes off. And then you can fiddle with all the little bits of the masking. So I did the masking beforehand because it takes a while to dry. But I'm pretty sure you guys, you know how to do masking. It's not rocket science. You just put it in the areas you want to keep. Highlights, or if you don't want to paint around something, you can put it on that area too. There. There. So see how I've kept the areas? So now I can go back in and you can fix up areas. Maybe there was too thick of an amount there, but it's easier than having to paint around everything. If I had to have painted around all of these things, none of these would look proper because you would tell that it stopped and started again, if you know what I mean. So we can put in, a little bit of this color here. Be a little bit smaller areas of, farther away, the smaller the width of the highlight in water. The closer you get, the thicker and more spread apart. And that goes with waves too. So let's see, we'll make that into some, just thin out some of them. They're not quite as old. A little darker around the edges here a little bit. Because I would have a shadow from the bank of the river or stream. So this can be shadowed a little bit. Like that. You can, depending on the trees. So this tree here would be casting a shadow. Well, it's not showing a shadow being cast, so maybe it's the sun's coming this way. So there would be shadows over here. So if it's coming that way, then maybe this one would be casting a shadow over the river. It's not really showing it in the picture, although it is a little darker on this side. Let's put a little bit more green in here. Just giving it a little bit of what it would be casting a shadow of maybe the leaves up above. We're not seeing it in the picture, but a little bit in there. Like that. That needs to be darker. Right in here. Rock would be casting a shadow. So it would be fairly dark actually in there. Let's darken that up. That. Shadows in there. Could be distant rocks back there. Shadow that up a little bit right there. I don't think that needs to be dark or light. And let's see what else. Now I'm going to take bright yellow and we're going to put those leaves in, maybe a little bit of that green too. More yellow though, because we have the green in the grasses and stuff already, but I want something fairly bright that's going to be noticeable. You could leave some white as highlights too. And you can go back in and add darker stems. You find they're not showing up, which I might do. And then now these are just generic shapes that kind of suggests that they are daffodils. They could be irises too, but you can add a little bit of shading to them if you want, or just leave them like this. Totally up to you. But I love masking because of the fact that it gives you more freedom as far as doing the background. If you decide you want more in there, then you can get gouache out and color your gouache and do more on that. Gouache is great if you did something and you don't like, just get that gouache out. It's so easy. Okay. A little bit dark in here. Finish up this rock here. You can get out all kinds of pens, add more pen work to these rocks. That would be cool. Okay, so let's try that and see what else we can do with gouache or colored pencil. You decide. Okay, so what do you want me to do? Pen, colored pencil, gouache? just to give it a little bit more detail. What would you like to see me do? I was enjoying sitting there before the sneeze. You thinking of the pollen? Okay, you guys decide, and while you're deciding, I'm just going to put the colors that I used on the top part here. Well, that wasn't very smart. A little bit more. There we go. Pen, I think. Okay, Joan. Brown. Okay. Pen. Okay. Good one. 3. That's a small one. And I'll use my Sharpie. All right, so let's do a little bit rocks, a little bit of roughing up. That would be fairly dark around the edges. They'd have, broken lines and that type of thing, cracks. So I just kind of scribble when I do that. Give it a rough look. Depending on the rock, you can add dots on them. If it's like a shale rock, you can do a lot of line work on them. Just have fun, or just follow the different shades of the colors you have on them. Like, that. You just you can take a look at some pictures of rocks, use that for reference. If you don't want to just make something up, but I like making things up, especially in the sketchbook, because that's how you learn, by doing, by experimenting. That's when it's fun. At least it is for me. Let's see, maybe we'd have a little grass area there. So we'll put some kind of lines representing grass growing a certain way. Another rock there. Just have to play with things. Let's see. I used to love, when I was in art school, we used to spend afternoons outside in parks and stuff, drawing trees and bark and that type of thing. I used to love doing that. That's when you can get into the flow. I don't know if you guys have heard that term. It's when you kind of lose track of time and everything around you. It just, you zero in. Let's see, maybe areas in here that were dark, down into the grass area here. I don't know what it is, but it could be more rocks, or follows the line of the trees there. You can go back in and paint if you're using a marker that is waterproof. You can always go back and put more watercolor on afterwards. I think Sharpies are waterproof. I'm not sure. Normally I use a Unipen or a Micron or a Copic. It depends on how much stuff, detail, or I love detail, so I could spend hours doing this, just playing, putting in the shadows or whatever. You could also use some highlighters, like white pen, and put in some stuff like highlights on the grasses would be cool. So it'd be darker on the bottom of the grasses if there's a whole bunch of them. It'd be darker in the bottom part where they're all bunched up. Just experiment, see what looks good to you. Everybody does this differently. So you kind of have to play and experiment on your own in order to find the style you like. Let's put some more defined limbs in here. A little bit of a stalk on the bottom part of this bush. making things up as I go. But it's fun because a lot of this, your eye will fill in the blanks. So it's a suggestion of whatever you're drawing, especially in nature. You don't necessarily have to put it all in. It's just a suggestion. And then your eye fills in the blanks. Okay, we could do this with the tree limb here. Maybe a little bit darker along the bottom part of the main branch. And you could do the branch too if you wanted to make it more bark look. Remember, there's all kinds of leaves and stuff, so you're not going to see the full branch. And we can go back in and put some gouache leaves over top of this if you wanted to. That would look cool. Okay. This one's closer, so let's put a little bit. I think you can see that. So I'm just scribbling back and forth, up and down, rough scribbles. And I'm doing it more or less on the darkest side. I'm going to kind of leave this side a little bit, not as many, and this will represent the bark. So up and down. As you go around the edge, it gets a little more condensed, more open in the center. That'll give you a form. You can look up the trees too that you're drawing. Maybe they've got different types of bark on them. They're not all the same. A little bit darker down here in the grasses. Even do some of the grass if you wanted to too. Ah. Yeah, let's put, you can just do a few maybe on the darkest areas. You just have to be careful. You can't put it from top to bottom because that wouldn't look right. You'll probably see more in the bottom area, dark parts of the grasses. So you're thinking how they're laying too. You don't have to do this though, but if you like line work, it's fun to do. Maybe let's do, no, I think I'm gonna leave these. I don't want to put a hard line on these, so what I think I'm gonna do is add a little bit of shading with watercolor on the flowers, just a bit, not much. Maybe we'll put a little bit more of this in here on some of these because it's up front, so you'd see them more. So we can do a few of these. Just in this part. I'm not going to do the whole thing. And just up and down, just in the bottom area. Just makes it look a little bit more interesting. A little more. This would be thick with stems and all kinds of stuff. So we'll just put a few there, maybe a few stems here and there. I'm not going to do a lot. All right. Let's get a little bit of gold. Maybe Indian yellow would be a good one. And I'm just going to put a little dab on some of these just to show where the centers might be of these flowers. Now I'm not paying attention to which way they're going on this one, but if you want to be more realistic, daffodils, doesn't matter where you plant them, they will all face the same direction. Okay, that looks pretty good. So maybe some white gouache, and or do I have a white pen? Maybe let's try my white pen. Let's see if this one works. We can. No, it's not going to work. I think this one, for some reason, is clogged. Let's see. Just a little bit of white scratchy marks even. Yeah, this one's not working right. Around here, this rock. That sucks. Oh, there we go. Whoop. We'll use it. There. That one keeps blurping. Blurp. I don't know if this one works or not. Nope, I don't think so. Nope. I have the worst luck with pens. Let's try this. Nope. Try this one. My white pens are do not have much luck with them. What do you guys know of a nice pen? Because I like fine work, fine edges and stuff, and sometimes you need a really fine pen. Now, I don't know how much this is gonna work. I like a little bit of highlight here and there just to show off some of the areas that are kind of blend in. If you put a little bit of white in there, sometimes that helps. Makes this scratchy more, which it needs. Some rock. White Jelly Roll or Poscas are my go-to pens, but doesn't always work. Yeah. I do have dip pens, but I should really start using them, as I probably could get those to work a little better. Let's put a little bit of a shine on some of this here, where we would have a little bit of cast highlight from the river. Just a bit. I think just make scribble marks on the up here. A little bit rougher along here because it would be flowing a little bit faster. But yeah, I think that works. Just a few pieces. All right. I think that's good. So there's a very quick and easy watercolor. And you can put as much detail as you want in it or just a little bit. So hope you give this a try, and you can use the reference photo that's on, or you can take a picture here. Take a picture, a screenshot of this. I think that's good right there. And then give it a try. All right. So have fun with it. And I'll let you guys go, and we'll see you on Thursday. And we'll be doing probably a mixed media painting, acrylic painting. I'm not sure yet, but I'm thinking that way. All right. Have a good one, everyone. And we'll see you next time. Bye for now.